Now,
that too.
I want to talk about the Avs and the Stars game. Has there been a better emotional high in these playoffs than Gabriel Landeskog scoring his first goal?
No, and a great goal too. Like, he scored with the Eagles in his AHL warm-up, but I think it like hit his knee, which is very ironic. That was a great damn goal, and the Avalanche kicked the Stars up and down the ice. That series is far, far, far from over. And I was, oh boy, they're my cup pick. And every year, for some reason, my family keeps asking me to help them with their pool picks. They've never won.
What do you mean for some reason?
Well,
They asked for the guy who works in hockey.
Yeah, but they keep losing.
You're
like,
surprised.
I've been part of that family for enough years now
that they should know better?
I'm not good at this, all right? But they were, I go, keep cool. It's the Avs. It's going to be a long series. That's very good for you. And sure enough, I actually just checked the text like a minute ago. My brother-in-law's in first place.
Yeah, all right.
Hey.
Buddy, that series, I think, is going 7. I don't think the Stars get their ass kicked quite like they did in Game 4, in Game 5 on home ice. I think this is going 7.
It was an absolute laser beam from Gabe.
Great
like,
job.
absolute laser beam. And it's great to see. You know what was cool to see? I forgot what the Avs C looked like.
Right?
Like, oh, yeah, because it's been 3 years since we've seen it.
1,000 and what was it, 41 days?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's just
between goals.
It's spectacular, and obviously, they were just the better team. Nathan MacKinnon has 4 goals in 4 games.
He's good, eh? I think I'm going to go out on a limb. Nathan MacKinnon's good.
What we saw in that game was something I think we thought we'd see earlier in the series, and that Dallas has been playing phenomenal defense throughout the first 3 games.
Even without Heiskanen.
Without Heiskanen, we
Especially
thought that they would struggle defensively. But Oettinger's been fantastic, and I think he was fantastic in that game, like despite getting pulled and all that stuff. And I think he just got rest by the time he got pulled there. I don't think there's big hoopla going about because he had great 1s through 3. And Dallas's defense really held up despite missing Heiskanen, despite having Labushkin out there, despite having Dumba out there. They were good defensively. And then finally in Game 4, we saw a game where rush chances were 24-4 for the Avs.
Wow.
Which is crazy. And we saw what we thought we'd get out of the Avs, where both teams were playing, I think, great defensively because the coaches, Bednar has been talking about this, DeBoer's been talking about it, how tight of a checking series this is. Like, there's no room for either team on the ice, except in Game 4. We saw the Avs open it up. So I wonder if they figured something out, whether scheme-wise or just the horses they have are able to tire out the legs that Dallas has, and everything's kind of catching up with Dallas. So this is a fascinating series, and this should be like a Western Conference final, the way it's being played out. And it's a shame that's a first-round matchup because this is so tight.
This is where I think Gary's argument about making the first round what it is falls apart because, obviously, in these series, there are some that are national headline series and some that are local headline series. And this is a national headline series, right? There's so many storylines that I think people outside of their own fan groups are paying attention to it, right? Yeah. Whereas I think a series like, and no disrespect, Washington, Montreal, Blues, Jets, I don't think those are the national headline series. And I feel like...
They're the hockey fan series.
They're the hockey fan
series. If you're a hockey fan, it's a big series to you. For everyone else, not really.
I feel like burning those out in the first round stinks. But I guess by virtue of the fact that there are less teams later, everything becomes a national headline series.
There's also been some really crappy conference final. In recent memory.
Yeah.
And having those lead into your Stanley Cup final kind of kills you. I mean, last year was Oilers-Panthers, which in years past would be ratings poison. But it's McDavid against Matthew Tkachuk.
Yeah. Right.
And those are, I guess, what I didn't grasp 2 years ago that Adam did is how big a name Matthew Tkachuk was.
Well, I don't think nobody knew that. I mean, even then I was like, at People Magazine, that's a fun little thing that'll happen only once, and then he's on like late night shows.
Well, he's this big personality and he's a pest and he's good, and I'm like, all right, he's Marchand. But we've never seen this kind of push behind Marchand.
I don't think Marchand has the personality that Tkachuk does. And I think Marchand's got a big personality, but
Tkachuk is American.
I also think Tkachuk
matters.
revels in front of the camera.
That too. But Tkachuk is American, and I think that matters.
Well,
with the Avs stars.
That's what I'm bringing it back to.
No, it's just Steve went on a tangent about Tkachuk.
One of the things that I want to talk to you guys about is Jake Oettinger getting pulled for the third period. They are down 3-0. So okay,
Maddie and I had a good discussion about
what
this
is the
show.
for those that don't know, because obviously people were bringing up the Peter DeBoer, Alan Walsh sword thing. They're like, oh, Peter DeBoer starting a fight with his starting goaltender. What a shock!
No.
What really was going on there? Why take out Oettinger?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They were sometimes. I think you got to trust a coach to know his team better than anyone else. The Dallas Stars were not winning that game when Jake Oettinger got pulled.
Yep.
He was their best player. This is a goalie who's been injured, and I tell you what, he gets injured. I'm not sure there's a ton of point watching the rest of the series. And that's nothing against who even is their backup, Scott Wedgwood. Mm-hmm. No, it was. No, Casey DeSmith. Scott Wedgwood's in Colorado now. Yeah, he's not Jake Oettinger, So they weren't winning that game. Get him a little extra rest. He'll come back for Game 5, and he'll probably be your best player again.
Yeah, and let me fact check myself. The scoring chances I was talking about, 24-4, according to National Hat Trick.
Wow.
That was only in the second period.
Whoa!
So it actually makes it worse. It actually makes it more obvious what happened there.
Yeah.
They were getting outplayed to smithereens for the first two periods.
What were the shots?
I think Peter DeBoer could see
smithereens.
The shots were 22-5 in that second period.
Just in the second.
In the second.
So what were they period by period?
12-11 Colorado in the first, 22-5 in the second, 14-7 in the third. And that's a game
all for
where
Colorado.
Score effects, all for Colorado. Score effects should have that third period reversed at the very least.
Nope.
And I think Pete DeBoer saw what was happening in the game with his eyeballs, looking at the ice. And he said, I'm not going to leave Oettinger in there just to lose this game 7-0.
You got one mission in that third period if you're Dallas, and that's the lumber. You're not winning that game.
Yeah, no, you want to come out healthy.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I don't think there's any controversy.
No.
I think if people are doing the Alan Walsh thing you said, Adam.
Yeah, the sword.
The sword to the
I
back
think
of
it was probably in jest.
Right,
Yeah, it was
right.
Fleury.
No,
doing
But
the goalie a
DeBoer was
favor.
the coach in Vegas when that happened, right?
Yeah, no,
He's doing
there's-
the goalie a favor.
There's no controversy.
Yeah.
No.
Give him 15. Is pulled with 14 to go. Give him 14 minutes off. It's
Yeah,
fine.
let him breathe.